Helga, this question is from a teacher and students at the MGIMO, the Russian Foreign Ministry University. They have held several seminars which studied video addresses by Lyndon LaRouche and the LaRouche PAC team on the topic of a credit system. The question is such: we watched your message from last September called "There is Life After the Euro." And we read the 7 policy points in your call for a worldwide Trennbankensystem, a worldwide separation of the banks, which was published in the press in Russia. More and more people in Russia believe that the next wave of the crisis is coming soon and will hit hard. Our Prime Minister, Vladimir Putin, has attacked the global bubble economy. Talking about the world economic crisis, he said the best case scenario is a rejection of bubble economies and a return to an economy of real value. Quote, an economy that creates jobs instead of derivatives. So they ask, what should the Russian government do now to make this happen on a really big scale? In 2011, capital flight out of Russia doubled. So should we use exchange controls? How can we get credit for investments in the real sector, and who in Europe would work with us on this?
Well, I think from what I have seen coming from recent speeches from Prime Minister Putin, President Medvedev, people like Rogozin and others, is that there is a definite commitment to undo the effects of the oligarchy or oligarchs from the 90s under the Yeltsin period, and reinstate Russia as a leading industrial and scientific power. Mr. Rogozin was recently at the previously secret science city, affirming that it will be reactivated. There were travels by Prime Minister Putin to the Far East, where he reaffirmed the building of the Bering Strait, the building of the Arctic development, and similar things. All of this is excellent. I only see one weak spot, and that is that I don't think that economists and politicians in Russia have completely broken with the idea of monetarism, because there were statements coming from some of these people saying, yeah, but we still need foreign investors to invest in these projects. Now, this will never happen, because this present financial system is about to go, either disintegration or hyperinflation. And it reflects also a wrong idea, because I don't know if it has to do with the fact that Karl Marx rejected Friedrich List at the time and Carey, and that there was not a real rethinking, because recently some Russian economists talked about restudying Adam Smith and Ricardo and whatnot. I think we have to have a complete recognition that any industrial development which took place in Europe, Russia, United States, came from the tradition of physical economy, and the proponents of that were Gottfried Leibniz, who invented this notion the first time when he developed the steam engine. It was carried, or before it was the development of the Colbert School in France. Friedrich List belongs to that school. And naturally, Henry Carey, who was the advisor of Lincoln, who also was influential in causing Bismarck to turn from a pro-feudal free market proponent into a believer of physical economy through the ideas of Henry Carey. Henry Carey was also, together with Friedrich List, the reason why the Meiji Restoration in Japan turned Japan from a completely isolated feudal country in a few decades into one of the leading industrial nations in the world. This was the same ideas of Count Witte, who was a complete fan of Friedrich List. He wrote beautiful things about this in his own books. So I think, my suggestion would be that there must be a real studying of what is physical economy, what is a credit system, and really understand that the power of the state to issue credit for future production, which leads to an increase in the productivity of the economy by injecting scientific and technological progress, is the source of wealth. In other words, it is the unique capability of human labor inspired by creative discoveries to create more than there was before. And that is why, for example, both Dr. Lautenbach in 1931 or the famous VTB plan, Wojtyński-Bade plan in the German trade union movement, they came up with the same idea. What Franklin D. Roosevelt's idea was the combination of Glass-Steagall and the New Deal. Get rid of the usurious, fictitious debt coming from the gambling, make an investment based on investment in the future through improvement of technological progress. And then a credit which you issue is not inflationary, because it's a credit in respect to future production. And indeed, the study of oil recovery programs prove that a credit given in such a way produces more tax revenues than the amount of the credit initially given, because it has a secondary effect. It puts into motion not only the direct investment, but everything in the surrounding. So it's like a science driver for the entire economy. And I think that would be my firmest advice, for Russian economists. Study this, and then maybe Russia could become one of the leading initiators of this transformation from a monetarist system to a credit system, which is the absolute indispensable prerequisite for getting out of this crisis.